What's up, all of you beautiful subscribers? So I'm going to give you guys 3 pieces of advice for any of you that are looking to start a business, to start a solo business, an entrepreneur business, whatever it may be. I want to give you guys 3 massive pieces of advice that, a lot of the time, that I wish I knew when I was younger. So the very first one I wish I knew when I was like 14, 15, 16 years old, when I had really, really good ideas. And there was just, number one piece of advice is just fucking go and try and do it. Whatever your idea is, all these, so many people, just average people, have a lot of good ideas, a lot of crazy good ideas. They're like, oh, someone should do this. Someone should do this. Someone should make a smart fridge or something like that. If someone has, the odds are in the past 2 or 3 weeks, you've had a really, really good business idea. But because of reasons X, Y, Z, you didn't try to go out there and work towards building it. Whatever reason that may be. So my advice is just go out there and fucking try. I mean, for me, I went through that for years. I kind of always wanted to be a CEO entrepreneur, but I really didn't go hardcore into it until I was, about 20 or so. And even I didn't really go full board until about a year ago. And just like go out there. I didn't find any, here's the deal. I didn't find any success in business until I tried, until I actually not just a try, not just like, oh, Google for 30 minutes, see if I can do this. No, like actually go out there, try to build a product, try to sell something. Like actually go out there and spend 4 weeks trying to do something. Spend a month, 2 months, 3 months trying to build a business on the side. It doesn't have to be your full-time job, guys. It doesn't have to be that. It has to just even put in, I mean, for me, one of the times when I started, it was my, even this YouTube channel is a good example. I always like to use this. For when I was working on my corporate job, my commute was like 4 hours a day, 3 to 4 hours a day, 2 to 3 hours a day, whatever it was that day, to downtown and then back. And at that time, I mean, I would work there 6 to 10 hours a day. I had my own hours. I could go in whenever I wanted to. But I really had only a couple hours of my day where I just wasn't either preparing for the next day or where I wasn't at work. And so I spent those 1 or 2 hours a day making YouTube videos. That's what I did. And I can guarantee you that almost all of you, 99.999% of you out there, have at least 1 to 2 hours a day to do something. Most of you probably have 6 to 8 hours a day to do something. And so I know YouTube for me now is more of a platform, but it does make me not a lot of money, but it makes me money. You guys know I talk about this. I'm kind of open with this. Is that YouTube right now pays me between $2,000 to $3,000 a month to just upload videos, and the ads that show on the videos that pays me $2,000 to $3,000 per month to have this YouTube channel. But when I started, the first 6 months that I was doing this on this channel specifically, I didn't make any money. I didn't even think I had ads on my videos. I'm not even quite sure when I put those up, and I had hundreds of people watching per day. Not even hundreds, tens. I think I had, I don't even know when I crossed 1,000 subscribers, but I think that actually, no, I got that, one of my videos went half viral. But I mean, I was uploading videos almost every day before I even had 500 subscribers or 200 subscribers. I was just kept uploading, and I had that time. And so what I'm trying to say here is just go out there and try and do it. And you're not gonna have good results on your first business, okay? I talk about this too. This isn't the second piece of advice even, this is still the first one, is that you're gonna fuck up on your first try at business. You're gonna fuck up. That's just the way it is. It's so rare that you're the Bill Gates who starts a software company on his first go and it becomes, $500 billion company. That's the that's the 0.00001%. But in terms of being super successful, building over a $10 million company on your first go, that is so rare. Most people fail. I mean, even someone like Elon Musk, he succeeded on his first try. He built Zip2 is worth about $10 to $20 million. He profited off that. And so on his first go, he made a $10 to $20 million company. And that was good, but it wasn't what he wanted. And then the next go around, he made PayPal, or it was called X.com, and he made $300 million off that. Next go around, it was SpaceX actually. SpaceX, And that failed for 10 years in a row before it started making money. And then he built Tesla and then acquired Solar City. And I'm trying to say here is that you're going to fuck up on your first go, or you're not going to succeed as much as you want on your first go. And that's just kind of what it is. But you have to try. I mean, think about this. What if Elon just never even tried? What if they never even tried to build a business or to sell anything? What if Elon just wanted to make computer games and just never sell it and just play it himself? He wouldn't become Elon like today. He's not going to Mars, right? Actually, I saw on Reddit that he wants to, his main mission is he wants to die on Mars, but not on impact. That was pretty funny. Good quote. So let's see here. So just fucking do it. Let's see. I want to talk about, you know what? I wasn't going to talk about this quote. I was going to talk about it. Maybe I should actually. So there's this guy named Marcus Lemons. You may have seen his face before if you're watch CNBC or Business News. And so he has his own show. He's a big entrepreneur. But one of the big pieces of advice he has is that, like, look, just do it, but do it in a way where you can be a big fish and not a little fish. And this is one of those times where I agree with that a little bit. But when you are starting, you're going to be a little fish. If it's your first business, be a little fish, and then over time grind and start eating other fish. And if you've ever played the game Spore, actually, here's a good example. The game Spore, I loved that game. I know a lot of people hated it, but you pretty much start off as a bacterial cell in Earth in 4 billion years ago in the ocean. And so your goal is to kind of evolve and grow and become the alpha of the entire life ecosystem on Earth. But you start off as a bacteria cell. All right? And when you're swimming along in this ocean, you see a giant bacteria cell. And then, oh, wait a second, you see a fish. You see a fucking fish, and that's 4,000 times, it's tiny fish, but it's 4,000 times the size of you, probably even, 100,000 times the size of you, more than that actually, probably 1 million. But perspective, in the game, it was just like 100 times the size or even less than that. But you see this fish, and then, all of a sudden, you start eating other bacteria cells, and you start eating other bacteria cells, and all of a sudden, you're as big as that fish. And then you see that there's bigger fish. There's sharks out there now, and you're this little tiny tuna that's swimming around. You see all these giant monsters, all these claws out there, and you're not born like that. Guess what? When you start a business, you're not going to be the big fish. You're not going to be the shark. Odds are that you're going to be a shark. Odds are there's going to be a shark, and he's going to try and kill you. Like, Amazon's going to try and kill me in eBay, and they're not going to know who I am right away. But that's what they're going to try to do. You're going to start off as a little fish. It's so rare these days that someone has a completely original idea. It's just, and I guess you don't even need a perfect idea. You know what? That's how we're going to come full circle here. You don't need a perfect idea. You just need to try. With a shitty idea even. Just try and see what happens here. Do you think that ShamWow was going to become a multi-million-dollar empire? No. It's a fucking towel. I mean, that's what it is. It's a towel. All right? And now whoever created it, I don't even know if the Vince guy created it. I think that he he went to jail, but I think he was just the spokesperson, got a little bit of the equity in the company. Probably made some good money off it, but I don't think that he was the creator of it. Anyways, what I'm trying to say here is that you don't need the best idea, but you just gotta go fucking try and do it. Okay, so we're gonna move on here to the next thing, which is piece of advice number 2, which is, I wish I knew this. Odds are, if you are starting a business, you are not working hard enough, and you are not realizing that you aren't working hard enough. And this is something that, I don't talk about this too much, but, I work 16 hours a day, roughly. As of this current second when I'm coding, seriously, 16-hour days right now. Usually, on average, it's 13 to 14, but the last few days it's been 16. And I remember, and I've talked about this, about the days where I was working, I think, on my businesses like 8 to 9 hours a day, and I thought I was working hard. And that is so laughable these days. I mean, if you're only working 8 or 9 hours, and the thing is, here's the other thing too, is that a lot of you out there, you think that sure, you're working whatever. Let's say you're working 8 hours a day, but you're passively working 3 hours a day. You're taking an hour of lunch, and you're actually only working 4 hours a day. Passive working, like that's okay sometimes, but you're working essentially 4 hours where you're going really hardcore into your work every day, and that's just not enough. You guys know me. Most of my day is, if I work 14 hours a day, I'd say probably about 10 is spent actively working, maybe a little bit more than that, 10 to 12, and then 2 to 4 hours a day spent passively. So what's passive working? I've talked about this. It's if you're educating yourself, expanding your skills, learning, reading, investing books, whatever it may be, something that's going to help you with your business indirectly, not directly. You're not coding, but you're learning how to sell, or you're learning how to market, or so doing something indirectly that can help you. That's passive work. And that is important. But if you're only working 4 hours actively a day, you're dead. You're dead as an entrepreneur. So you got to work more than that. And one of the funny things too is that I've found out that every single successful entrepreneur out there thinks that they are the hardest working person on the planet. And I found this out because I remember Gary Vee was on Grant Cardone. And I've heard about this from tons of other people too, like even Elon Musk and Bill Gates and all that. But Gary Vee was on Grant Cardone, and he talked about, I think Grant Cardone asked him straight out, like, who do you think works harder, you or me? And Gary Vee's just like, me. No, it's just me. There's no way you can work as hard as me. There's no way. There's no way. Grant Cardone's like, are you kidding me, man? I work harder than you 110%. But, he is his accentuation. I can't even do it. I'm getting a little better at accents, I think. No, I'm not. But every single successful person thinks that they are working harder than everyone else because odds are they're working the entire day. The entire fucking day. And so it's not possible for people to work more than that. If you're working 16 hours a day, you're maxed out. 16, even 17, 18 hours a day is my max. You need 6 hours of sleep. If you're working 10 hours a day, you're at the maximum human limit. Think about that. If you're working 18 hours a day, it's not possible for anyone to work as much as you because people need sleep. And if you're working 18 hours a day, think about this. If you're working 18 hours a day, and if you're working 18 hours a day, you're working, 2.2 times as much as the average person. Perspective for me, if I'm working 16 hours a day, I'm working twice as much as the average person. However, I'm working more actively too. So, if you're at some desk job somewhere, working 8 hours a day, you're only working 4 hours a day. You're working 4 hours a day, you're taking an hour and a half of lunch because you're taking an extra 30 minutes to fuck off with your friends, play Pokemon, whatever it may be. I shouldn't have said that because my girlfriend plays Pokemon at lunch, actually. I don't know why I said that. It's kind of funny. But you're only working 4 hours a day. You're taking an hour and a half lunch, you're working 4 hours, then you're spending 2 hours procrastinating on Facebook and Twitter and whatever, checking whatever site it may be, Tumblr. I don't really know what people go on these days, Reddit. But if you're working 4 hours a day and I'm working 16, guess who's going to win? It's not you. It's not you. Over there, think about this. I'm working 4 times as much as you per day. So expand that over the course of 5 days of one work week. It will go even 7 days. Okay, let's just say you're an employee and you work 7 days, 4 hours a day. So you're working 28 hours. All right? Over the course of 1 week, 28 hours versus someone who is working 16 hours. 16 hours times 7, so that's 70. That is, that is 113? Or is that 103? What is, God, that's going to bother me now. So what's 7 times, what was the number I just gave? God damn it, I just forgot. It's 42, right? So it's 112. Fuck off. Okay. Is it? Oh my God, okay. You know what, I have to look this up. I think it's 112. Sorry, I'm one of those people where it's just like, if I get something wrong, it's 7 times 16, I think it's 112, right? What did I just, 7 times 16. 112, I was right. Okay, good. So, man, my math skills are off. So 112 versus 28. 112 hours versus 28, meaning that you would have to work 4 weeks to do what I can do in 1 week. And odds are, if you only work five days a week, if you're an employee too, odds are it's going to take you 5 weeks to do what I can do in 1 week. And so that's the importance of work ethic, and that you're not working hard enough. Now, I want to close this out with point number 3, which is finding your true motivation. And this is more of a mindset thing, but it's important to talk about. So finding your motivation, I've talked about this in the Wealth Accelerator a ton, and I always talk about this, about how, like, you know, most people always tell you, just do whatever your heart desires. You know, follow your passion, be an artist. All right? And sure, that's important. I mean, doing whatever you're passionate about. I mean, okay, if you want to go do that, go do that. But I mean, if your motivation is money, like, one of the motivations for me is money. That's okay. If you want to make money, it's okay if that's your motivation. I mean, it's because it makes your life better. I mean, when I went from making whatever I was making as a camp counselor when I was 16, I don't even fucking know. I was below minimum wage. All right, I don't even know. I'd make $500 or $1,000 for a month or something. All right, and I'd work every day. You know, living like that versus making $100,000 a year, or 80,000 or 120, whatever the number is going to be this year. There's a big difference. There's a big difference in how happy you are and what your life is like. Money does not make you happy. However, it makes you a lot more comfortable and lets you do the things you want to do with your life. So if money is your motivation, that's okay. Now, there's other motivations too, and it doesn't have to be just one. I mean, money could be one. It can be status. I mean, a lot of these that I'm going to mention here is all of these I like. All of these are my motivations. There's money, there's status, there's creation. You know, you like to build shit. You want to leave a legacy on the world. Maybe you want to have a better, if you're a guy especially, a better chance of getting, you know, a better looking partner, I guess, in a way. You know, spite. You know, one of the things I talk about is spite. I've been open about that the past few vlogs, about how one of my motivations when I started entrepreneurship was like spite. I was like, I'll show you. I'll show you. You had the audacity to talk down to me. I'll show you. I mean, that happened when I got, you know, dumped. That happened when everyone was kind of ageist at my corporate job. Happened when, you know, my dad didn't believe in me when I started everything. He wanted me to go back to school and get my master's. And seriously, he wanted me to go get my master's in whatever, chemistry, and get a research job that paid me 40 or 50 grand a year. And he didn't want me to start any online businesses. And then it's kind of funny, you know, you start to convince a lot of people and you get them to believe in you once you show them that you're making a few $1,000 a week. It's amazing what that can do for you. So, and that's a good feeling, proving people wrong. So whatever it may be, money, mating, status, legacy, spite, spite, I love saying that. Whatever your thing may be, just find your true motivation. And odds are it's going to be a lot of those. All of those that I mentioned there, I mean, all of them are motivations for me. I mean, obviously I love my girlfriend, so that one's probably out. Like, I'm not looking for, you know, whatever. I want to be with my girlfriend as long as possible, what I'm trying to say here. Whether it's the rest of my life or 30 seconds from now, she calls and breaks up with me, who cares? But you know, I'm not looking for a better partner is what I'm trying to say here. So, but it's also nice that, you know, when you're building a business and you become wealthier, you tend to be seen as more attractive to the opposite sex, though. It's just kind of the way it is. Especially for guys. Although girls, it's actually the opposite though, because girls a lot of the times find it intimidating. But you know, if you're a girl and you build a really successful business, you're just going to weed out the dumbasses that are scared of having a partner that makes more money than them, and that's just kind of the way it is. So you're just kind of weeding out the shitholes and the terrible guys out there. So anyways, I think that's going to wrap this video up. I think, yeah, I'd like to thank you very much for watching. Check out my stock market program in the link below if you want to learn how to invest in stocks and stuff. And the Wealth Accelerator, you're going to like that program if you liked this talk especially. So check that out in the link below. And I'd like to thank you very much for watching. You're all very beautiful people, and I'll see you guys in the next video.